Understanding the work in our value stream, making it visible, and expanding it across the organization. Chapter 6, presented by Posse, Brianna, Cassie, Jay, and Tony.
An overview of this presentation is using DevOps to create successful businesses, identify teams that create that customer value, creating a value stream map to make that work visible, using that to create better and quicker value, and then also using tools to reinforce that desired behavior. Identifying the teams that support the value stream. Often groups within a company are far removed from each other's tasks. And because of this, not just one person knows how to increase the value stream within a company. We need to identify all the main members of the value stream that work with other groups to be able to create that value for the customer. These main members will work between the different groups to make the necessary changes. And here's just a list of some possible people involved in that.
Create a value stream map to see the work. Value stream mapping, or material and information flow mapping, is a management method in which workers take and evaluate the current value stream state and plan accordingly for the future state of the value stream. This means that we analyze the steps taken from when the initial request of the customer is made to the completion of the task, mapping and adding more value to the steps as we can. To map the value stream is to create an efficient plan that adds value to the customer, allowing us to see the process and modifying as needed. An example of this would be in the case of a customer coming through and making a request. What we do is we map out the entirety of the request. So if it, for example, is creating a new web page for a site, we would map out the processes or the step-by-steps that we would need to take. And as we're going along, we would improve upon that, visually being able to see an overview of what we're supposed to be doing so we can make it more efficient.
Creating a dedicated transformation team. Organizations need to create a dedicated transformation team that is able to operate outside of the rest of the organizations, that is responsible for the daily operations, which is called dedicated team and performance engine. Organizations have been successful for years, decades, and centuries. They have practiced what made them successful, such as product development, order administration, and supply chain management. In order to execute such an initiative, we do the following: assign members of the dedicated team to be solely allocated to the DevOps transformation efforts. Select team members who are generalists who have skills across a wide variety of domains. Select team members who have a long-standing mutual respectful relationship. And lastly, create a separate physical space for the dedication team. Agree on a shared goal. Some examples of improvement goals are reduce the percentage of the budget spent on product support and unplanned work by 50%, ensure lead time from code check-in to production release is 1 week or less for 90% of changes, ensure releases can always be performed during normal business hours with zero downtime, and integrate all the required information security controls into the deployment pipeline to pass all required compliance requirements. By keeping our planning horizon and iteration intervals short, we achieve flexibility and ability to reprioritize and replan, decrease the delay between work expended and improvement realized, faster learning generate from the first iteration, meaning faster integration of learning into the next iteration, reduction in activation energy to get improvements, quicker realization of improvements that make meaningful differences in our daily work, and less risk that our project is killed before we can generate any demonstrable outcomes.
Reserving 20% of cycles for non-functional requirements. Organizations that struggle with financial debt tend to do the bare minimum by only making the interest payments. So by only paying the interest, the loan is never reduced and interest continues to build up, leaving companies that can no longer pay in a tough financial burden, which can be said for technical debt too, which is the cost of reworking code when trying to expedite when that project or development is delivered to customers. By dedicating 20% of coding cycles to creating countermeasures from problems in daily work, technical debt will not consume everyday tasks and will reduce burnout from decreased debt to the workers. And I also include a graphic that shows the time that's going to be deleted basically when technical debt is built up. Your production time is going to go down.
And using tools helps to reinforce our desired behavior. And tools are a means to an end. They are instruments or applications that help us accomplish a desired outcome and make desired changes. And they help reinforce our business or technical culture. In DevOps, tools help us add efficiency to our value stream by being able to share goals between the development and operations, create and use a common work system, and also create and use a shared vocabulary. Tools also help develop a common backlog of work and help us prioritize this work globally across the organization. And as a result of this, we can reduce our technical debt and increase our productivity. And one example of a tool that is commonly used in organizations is our chat rooms. And every tool that is used needs to be, the positives and negatives need to be considered. So for example, in chat rooms help us to share information faster. We can invite those that need to know into shared rooms, and chat programs typically keep a log of all of our conversations. And compared to other types of communications, such as ticketing systems or email systems, chat rooms do help us have a faster response. But some of the negatives that come along with chat rooms include increasing expectations that for immediate responses. If no response is made or is not considered fast enough, then users can continuously reach out to others and kind of nag each other until they get a response. And this can create ill feelings between teammates and employees in the company, which could ultimately increase lead and process time. And so all of these aspects, they help us to better understand the work that is in our value system, and it helps make the work visible across the organization. So ultimately, our goal is to decrease technical debt and make our value streams more efficient. And yeah, thank you for watching our presentation.